All right. The last thing we covered were these levels, right? And we talked about a level that has a plan assigned to it, a level that just calls out some heights, right? And we talked about how to create them, right? You create them by going to the architecture tab and hitting level, right? So for example, if this was going to be two-story house, well, then I'd have to have another level here in blue that said floor plan 2 or level 2, right? Top of windows and doors 2. That one would just be black to cover the windows up there, right? So depending on your project, that's going to determine the number of levels you'll need. Okay. For our purposes, it'll be a one-story home. We're going to go with 9-foot ceiling height, standard throughout the house. All right. So the next thing I want to do is, for homework, I told you to create that title block. I want to import that title block to this project so we can use it later on. Now, I tend to set up my drawing first, or my project first, and then I work on my project. I kind of work backwards. Most companies will work on the project first, and then they'll set up the sheets or the stuff towards the end. I guess my mentality is CAD mentality. First you get your template, then you can draw and do the stuff. So I still kind of work that way. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in that title block. And so go find wherever your title block is saved. Okay. And just double click. It will open in the Revit file. What we're going to do is, once you have it here, right? Hopefully it already has your logo. You're good to go. We're going to go and press this tool up here. It says load into project and close. Okay, load and close. And when you do that, it's going to send it over. You're going to get this error message down here. Hey, we can't create that kind of element in this current mode, or view in this current mode. It's all right. But that lets us know that we brought it over, but we can't use it here, right? So I'm in an elevation that don't work. Now, in Tuesday's class, I had a student ask me, well, how do you know that it came over? Oh, okay, good question, good question. I'm pretty sure somebody here was going to ask. I just beat you to the punch. In your project browser, okay, if you scroll down, in your project browser, if you scroll down, okay, at the very bottom, you're going to see families, groups, Revit links, right? But the one we want to look at is families. So click the little plus on families. Okay. It's going to open a bunch of more folders of stuff that has been loaded into your project or already came with it, right? Because we used a template. But on one of them, or one of these folders, is annotation symbols. Do you see that second one on the list? Click the little plus. Now here now are all the annotation symbols that are in this file. Somewhere on here, you should see it's alphanumeric. So depending on your name, you're gonna, and if you saved it the way I told you, you're gonna find it. So mine, JR. Scroll down till I found the J. R. It's right there. Now, that's how you find it, or know that it's loaded. That's not how you use it, but that's how you find it. Okay, so once you load it, we can use it. Okay, to use it, there's two ways. I'm going to show you both ways. Well, there might be more than two ways that I know of. There's two ways to create and use our title block. The very first way is through the ribbon. If you go to View, okay, if you go to View, there's this little icon that looks like a piece of paper with a sun on it. You see it? Do you see it on your ribbon? Now, if I hover over it and leave my mouse there, I haven't clicked, it's a sheet. Create a page for a document set. Okay, so first of all, messed up. I like the way I did it in the other class. So what do you use your title block for? So we're going to create sheets. That's why I said, oh man, the answer was right there. I'm hovering over it. It says sheet. But we're going to create a sheet, right? We set it up to print these construction documents, but we're setting up a sheet. That's what it's called. Okay. So if you go to view, there's the icon. You can click on it, and then it's going to take you to this window. Okay. That's one way of doing this. The other way is you can go to your project browser. Okay. You can scroll down and find the word sheets. Notice that there is no plus next to it. That means that there is nothing there. It's empty. It's an empty folder waiting for us to put stuff into it, right? Because remember I told you our project browser is like our file cabinet. We can open it. There's different files in it. Well, we have a folder, but there's nothing inside it. So how can you put stuff inside it? Well, if you click on it once, don't double click. Click on it once. It's going to turn blue. You see that blue bar across it? All right. Now, if you right click over it, this is the second way of creating a sheet. Once I right clicked, what's the very first one that says there? There you go. So now I showed you two ways of creating sheets. Is one right and one wrong? No, they both do the same thing, and they both take you to the exact same spot. So if I hit new sheet, I get this window. Okay. Now, if you got it and you're here and you're following along, hang on. I'm just going to show you that the other way takes you to the same spot. See? We're creating a brand new sheet. So we can put our title block, which will have our presentation drawings, right? That we can give to somebody that will have all the data. Exactly what you explained. That's what we're going to do, right? But we're setting it up, right? So we can do no title block. We can do the default title block, which is an E1, which is 30 inches by 42 inches, 30 by 42. Or we can use the one we have that has our logo. So, of course, we're going to select the one that has our logo. Hit OK. There you go. You created your very first sheet. Okay? Now, I want you to take a look at this really quickly. Okay? Take a look at it. Analyze the sheet. Okay? So, let me zoom in here. Oh, look. It already has a sheet number automatically assigned to it. Interesting. Oh, look. It already has a project number. I don't have to type it in. Oh, look. It already has who drew it. Oh, let's see. Look, it also has project title. It has the address filled up. It has the client's name also already on there. So do y'all remember last week on Thursday, last week on Thursday, I had you go into the drawing information box and we filled this stuff in? The title block is reading and updating. Oh, you've already filled that up? Okay, I'll put it in here. You don't have to type it. Now, this is a residential project. You're going to have about anywhere from 11 to 16, 18 sheets in one project. Okay? Imagine having to type the project name on 18 sheets. Imagine having to type the address in 18 sheets. Client name. You're going to have to go update drawn by on 18 sheets. Project number, check by, all these other things you're going to have to update. If there is a change to our project, let's say, for example, I've realized that this project, the lady's name was not Sandra, and I already had my 20 sheets set up, we can fix it. And we can fix it on all the sheets by fixing it in one place. These elements are called labels also here in Revit. So it's the same thing. It's the same tool. All right. Now, one of the things, remember when we were filling out that address, I said, oh, well, how you fill it out is important, but you need to know how you're going to use it to fill it out correctly. So look here. You think that would fly if I printed all my sheets like that? So how would you fix this? How can you fix this? Well, this is what's going to happen, okay? But this is what you would do. I'm going to select the title block, okay? And up here on the ribbon, you're going to find this tool called Edit Family. It's the last one on the list, okay? We're going to click on it. excuse me. And it's going to take us back to our title block, right? Now, this is how the title block was created, right? That's where I inserted that. This stuff is text, right? All of this is text. Okay. Now, if edit family, ma'am. Okay. So let me just click on one of these so you can see up here. See, edit label. See how it's called a label? Well, in CAD, they're called the same thing. They're labels. Okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to project address. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to create, modify this one. Okay. But only this one. Okay. Here's the thing. If I say I'm going to edit, okay. Oh, sorry. Properties. I'm going to go to edit. You don't have to do this step. I want to show you. You don't have to do this step. I'm going to show you just something real quick. Okay. I want to edit this, right? My text word wrap, right? So that means that I don't have enough space. Okay. But if I click on this, you see this blue box? That's how far it'll go before it'll wrap. So I've already stretched it to the max. I can't stretch it any further, right? Because if I stretch it further, yeah, the text will fit there, but what's going to happen? It's going to go over that stuff, right? So I really can't stretch it any further. So I'm going to do Control Z. All right. So what can I do? Well, I can make the text smaller so it doesn't go as long, right? Okay. So it all fits within this box. But don't do this. I'm going to demonstrate. If I go edit type and I say, okay, it was 3/8. What if I change it to 2/8? 1/4? 1/4. Let's try 1/4. Hit apply. Hit OK. What happened? What happened? Okay, Control Z. Pay attention. I changed the text. What happened? Size. Why? You look to the right place. You don't remember, but you look to the right place. I saw your eyes. The tag. Let's go back. What is this called? What is this called? What is this called? So as soon as I changed it, to change the height, they're all the same one. It changes on all of them. That's why, okay, that's why my mentality was, oh, make one for each one. Because if I change it, it'll only affect that one. Honestly, that was back then. Now I've realized instead of having project name, have a text height. 3/16, anything that's 3/16, I can use that same one. If I change the text, I know it's going to change it on all the ones that are 3/16 or word 3/16. Okay? So what you're going to do today is you're going to select it. I'm going to show you how to fix it, okay? So you're going to select it, select this one. Do this. Do this. Select it. We're going to hit edit type right here. Okay? We're going to hit edit type. This brings up this window. Property type window. Get familiar with it. We're going to use it a lot. That the previous tool right here where my thing is hovering, get familiar with that and where that is, because I'm going to tell you go to edit type. Okay, we're going to use it a lot. Okay, so we're going to, same as before, never overwrite the original, create a duplicate. So we're going to create a duplicate and we're going to just call it 3/16 of an inch tag. Okay. All right, guys. All right, there we go. Work stuff now. 3/16 of an inch tag. Hit OK. Give it a name. Duplicate. Give it the name. Then hit OK. All right. Now, up here, notice that it says 3/16 tag. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is come here to the height and put 3/16. Okay. Now, why did I go with 3/16? I already tried this, guys. With Tuesday's class, we tried 1/4. it would still word wrap. So I went to 316 and it worked. Okay. So I already knew. So I wanted to avoid the load it and then come back and fix it again because I've already done it. So 316 should work. Hit OK. All right. So now notice that only that one shrunk. The other ones stayed nice and big. Now, does a project address need to be like huge? Does it have to stand out right away? No. Owner name, yes. Project name, more than the address, right? So just shrink the project name. For my online folk, this right here looks too spread out. Like there's too much white space for my project address that's going to be tiny. So what I would do if this was a title block that I was going to be using constantly, I would grab the project address text, because that's all it is, text, and this line, and I would move it using the move tool right here, move tool. Click on the white, anywhere on the white. Remember, get away from that habit of I have to click on the object to move it. No, even in CAD, you don't have to click on the object to move it in CAD also, okay? So get away from having to click on the physical object. To me, it just distracts me, and I think it works better, and for you guys too, if you just click somewhere in the white and then move it down. Now, you can use the temporary dimension to kind of give you an idea of how far you're moving it within the space. Also, take a look at where the hidden lines are, the new hidden lines are compared to where the others are. So that might work because, no, that might not work because that means that the bottom of this text will be on top of that text. You see that? Okay, so look, this is the original box. So look at where this hidden line is. Is this the original box? Ooh. I wonder if that's the original box, or is that the new one? You think that's the new one? I think so. I think you're right. It might work. Let's try 1/4. I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna click again. And yes, you were right. It was. I did get confused on where I moved it. Hit escape. And that kind of frees up. This doesn't look as spread out. Now it looks a little bit more constricted, but it gives to me, oh, sorry. Let me go back, Control Z. It gives my project name a little bit of breathing room. It's not so confined. Now, if you noticed or if you caught it, or maybe you didn't, a little while ago, after I moved this, instinctively, I did it just out of instinct, I moved my project name. But, and I didn't show you, so I did an undo. But what I did was this. Look, I clicked on the object. There's one thing that I love that AutoCAD does not have. It moved. You see it move? No? Okay, one more time. One more time. Arrows on my keyboard. The arrows on my keyboard move my objects. I'm gonna do Control Z. I'm gonna move it all the way back, hopefully. Oh shoot, I'm gonna have to go Control Z for every single one of them. There we go. Now redo. I moved this. If you grab the project, move it over, or one arrow. Press your arrow once and move it closer to your project address at least once, just to give it a little bit of more breathing room. All right, now my title block is fixed for now. Okay, now keep in mind, guys, keep in mind, you're gonna run across this stuff frequently. That's what I'm showing you. This I do a lot with my title block, even nowadays. There's times where the address is gonna be very long, the street name is gonna be very long, the city might be very long. So I do this a lot. I go back and forth, right? My project may be 100% complete, but then I notice that my text for my address is word wrap or something, and I have to do this that I'm showing, and that's what I'm showing you. Sometimes you're gonna have to go in there and modify it, send it back so that it looks great and ready to print. Okay, that's why I'm showing you this. It's something you're going to have to do frequently, especially with the address. If you're going to have your address on your title block, um, if you're going to have the sheet title or the name of the sheet on the title block, depending on how you set it up, you might have to go back and forth, depending on the sheet name or whatever you're going to put. So I'm showing you this because it's something you're going to probably do frequently, right? Okay, so now that I fixed it, I'm going to load and close. Now, I'm going to load and close, and it's going to ask me, hey, you made changes to the original file. Do you want to update it? I would say yes. That way you don't have to update it next time, unless you get like, I don't know, 2859 South Porch Manfield Road, Porch Manfield, Texas 78559. That's a long title, right? Now you're probably gonna have to come back and play with it. Other than that, more than likely at a 316 size, it should work for most other projects. So my suggestion, yes, save it. So it's gonna save the original, and it's gonna tell you, hey, you already have this saved. Do you want to replace it? Well, yes, because it's updated. Yes. Now, boom. Here's the thing. Because this project or this family was already in this project, you get this message. Anytime you correct something, bring it back in. Hey, this already exists. What do you want to do? Well, I want to override the existing version. 100% of the time, that's the button you're going to press. It's very rare when you press the bottom one. If you press the bottom one, the parameter values are going to reset to defaults, and if you make changes, you don't want to do those changes again, right? So that's the button you're going to press, override existing. Now let's take a look, zoom in here. Hey, look, looks pretty good, right? Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than the rest of my text, but the address isn't, to me, isn't as important as some of the other stuff. What if my name word wraps? It's too long for that square. Oh, okay, can we do the same thing? Yes. You would go back in here to edit family, right? And the very first thing I would tell you is click on the thing, and if the box does not reach the edges, right? If it doesn't reach the edges, I would pull the box till it's closer to the edges to see if you can fit it in one row without making your text any smaller. Okay? Now, honestly, I didn't catch this. I just gave it to you. Like I said, I didn't do this. I personally would not have that justification. That's what's wrong. The justification. I wouldn't have that. From looking at it, and when I stretch the box, what do you think the justification is? Middle center or middle, right? I probably wouldn't have it that way, personally. I would have had it left, so it goes to the right. And I specify a certain distance away from the wall so that even if the name is long, hopefully it fits. But like I said, I didn't use this title block. I didn't make this title block. I grabbed it from the shell. Mr. Perez, one of my former students, he set this up. Like I said, I didn't double check anything on it. I was just like, we'll just use that and we'll just put the logo and get going, because I didn't want to spend time showing you how to create all of this from, not from scratch, but still from your CAD file. But it depends on you what you want to do. I personally, that's bothering me like 95% bothered. In your properties, say it's center middle, I would probably do center middle left. Sorry, on top one. Change the top one to left, and then hopefully maybe your name will fit there. Now, if you squish it as close to as you can to that black line, and it still word wraps, then change the height. Okay, this depends on how many letters your name is, right? If you're working somewhere, you could also get away with Mr. and your last name or something, right? If you don't want to put your whole first name and your whole last name. Some of us get those names that are really long, or initial last name. That could work too. You can get creative if you don't want to make the text any smaller. If you want to keep your whole name, if this doesn't work, you tried it, it doesn't work, load it, save it, load it, and if you still see it word wrapping, you can change the height. Okay. In my case, I'm not even gonna load it. I'm actually just gonna close it, and it's gonna tell me if you want to save the changes. I'm gonna hit no. I'm gonna leave it with that middle, even though I already know and it's gonna bother me. I'm just gonna ignore it.